Om Jai Jai Sai Maa. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudakshate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, that is infinite, and the universe is infinite, and the infinite emerges from the infinite, taking the infinite from the infinite, and only the infinite remains. Abundance. This is the nature of the universe and our own nature. My name is Jivan Das Maharaj, and I'm thrilled and ecstatic and blissful to be with you here on our first day of celebrating the goddess Lakshmi on these 9 days of Navaratri. Now, throughout our journey so far, we have experienced the power, the vibrancy, and the fearlessness of the goddess Kali. And so now we are transitioning into the 3 days of Maha Lakshmi. And today we'll focus on this wonderful quality of abundance. So I'd like to take you on a journey with me. And the first thing that I'd like you to do is to close your eyes. And let us all become aware of our breath. And let us notice the abundance of breath. We've probably breathed millions and millions, probably billions or trillions of times in our life. And inside every one of those breaths, we have been breathed. It's not like our will has provoked us to breathe. We've been breathed our entire lives. And this force of life has breathed us, has guided us further and further into the experience of life. And so before we even begin our journey, let us just be grateful for the abundance of breath, fueled by life. And now let us look at different aspects of our life to see all the things that we already have, that we already possess, that have already been brought to us in our life. And let's look at our relationships first. Looking around our lives and looking at the abundance of love that we have in our life through our relationships. Starting with the people that are closest to us. Maybe that's our immediate family or a partner, our closest friends, and feeling that gratitude that we have for these people in our life right now. The way that they care for us and that they give us the opportunity to care for them. Seeing how they serve us and support us and all of the connection that we have, the intimacy that we have with this close inner circle in our life. And then looking at our career or roles that we have in our life, looking at how we can be grateful for the role that we play right now for those in our life. Maybe it's a parent or a sister or brother. Maybe we're a mentor to some around us. looking at our career and how we can be grateful for these opportunities that we have in our career to provide service to others in this capacity where we may be compensated financially. And then looking at our finances, looking at the abundance of finances, even if we're not satisfied with our level of financial compensation right now, being grateful for what we have financially in our lives and looking at the abundance of that. Now looking at the relationship with our body and looking at all that we have in our body, how our body functions. Again, even if it's not optimal where we want it to be, tuck that aside for now and look at all that we have in our relationship with our body, how it functions for us, how it provides us with energy and movement and action. Looking at our lives spiritually, energetically, looking at all that we have received in our life spiritually and energetically. And now look into your life and see if there's anything else that you can just be grateful for right now with the abundance that we have in our lives. Maybe our relationship with nature, the outside world. Maybe the relationship with some material objects that we have that have come to us that we've called in. And just notice our level of gratitude for what we currently have. And now what I'd like you to do is to think back 15 years ago. It would be the year 2006. And I'd like you to look at your life and how it was in each of these capacities 15 years ago. Look at your relationships back then compared to now. And look at how, yes, I've had some relationships back then, but oh my gosh, look at where I am now. And I'd like us to consciously compare where we are now to where we were 15 years ago, starting with our relationships. It may even bring a smile to our face for some of us in some of the relationships that we were in with our friends or our partners. Being grateful for what we had then, and then looking at how we've grown in these last 15 years. How much more we've brought to our lives, how much more we've learned in our relationships with our friends, with our family, with our intimate partners, our romantic partners. And now looking at our roles. Maybe some of us are parents now and we weren't back then. And look at the abundance of this role that we have in our life now, these various roles that we are privileged to play now that we couldn't back then. Look at our career back then. We may have not even started the career that we're in right now. And looking back through all the training we may have received, all the guidance we've received in our roles in our career, and being grateful for all that we've received through our career or our roles in those last 15 years, and looking at how much less we had 15 years ago. And now looking at ourselves financially 15 years ago, oh my gosh, how much less we had financially 15 years ago. How we operated in such lack 15 years ago. We can almost laugh at ourselves, at how limited our perception was and our abilities were. Our perception of our abilities were 15 years ago. How we didn't value ourselves at that time. like we do now. And now looking at ourselves spiritually or energetically 15 years ago. How, yes, we may have been grateful for what we had back then. But now look at where we are now. I mean, are you kidding me? Look at how much we have now, how expanded our field is, all of the things that Sai Ma, this great spiritual master, has brought to us over these last 15 years. And who we are now in this moment, and all that we have on an energetic level, the capability that we have right now in this moment to create, to love and be loved. And let us take a breath in all of that right now and who we are and what we are capable of. And taking a conscious breath into the abundance of this life that is right now. The 1,000,000,000,000, 1,000,000,000, 1,000,000,000th, 131st breath that we're taking in our life, and being grateful for this breath and its abundance. And seeing ourselves as this infinite life, this infinite light. From the infinite, we become the infinite. And letting ourselves smile, being bathed as that infinite that we are, that Purnamada Purnamidam. And noticing the expansion of our heart and the love that pulsates through our veins as life. Allowing our chest to expand and our body to mimic this infinite. Maybe our shoulders expand naturally. A smile creeps across our face. Our eyebrows widen. And we look with our eyes closed at the spot between the eyebrows. This bindhu of creation. The point where creation emerges from its potential into this dimension. And from this place of gratitude and expansion, we'll practice the beloved mantra of our dear, dear, dear Maha Lakshmi. And so if you have a mala, you're welcome to retrieve it now. And if not, it's okay. You can stay seated and just follow along with me. We'll post the mantra in the chat here. And the mantra is Om Shrim Maha Lakshmiyei Namaha. So from this place of gratitude for being the infinite in the infinite, let us chant this beloved mantra with this feeling of gratitude, of life, of love, of ecstasy, of bliss, of abundance. And let us merge even further into this infinite of abundance that is Maha Lakshmi. Let's begin. Om Shrim Maha Lakshmiyei Namaha. 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 Om Shrim Maha Lakshmi Namaha. Om Shrim Maha Lakshmi Namaha. Om Shrim Maha Lakshmi Namaha. With the gratitude of abundance that we already have. Om Shrim Maha Lakshmi Namaha. 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 Being grateful for the former self of us that brought us to where we are now. Om Shrim Maha Lakshmi Namaha. 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 Seeing the abundance of Maha Lakshmi as she's already been our lives throughout every moment of our lives and continues to be in every moment of our lives. Om Shri Maha Lakshmi Namaha. 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 With gratitude and passion for all that Maha Lakshmi as her abundance brings to us in every moment from now until the future. Om Shri Maha Lakshmi Namaha. 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 Opening our arms if we wish, smiling, being, loving in this force of life itself. Om Shri Maha Lakshmi Namaha. 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 Being in the silence for a few moments. In our tender, powerful, infinite heart. Absorbing and receiving these infinite blessings from the Mother. Allowing ourselves to be moved by this Shakti, this divine energy. Emerging from within us and showering upon us from outside of us, the infinite within, bathing in the infinite from without. How could we not be grateful? And as we are moved by this Shakti, this grace of Mother Divine, let us bring our hands to our heart and feel this grace of life in our heart, this heart that has beat billions of times for us, for this opportunity to experience life in its fullness and its abundance. And with one final conscious breath, merging with this heartbeat in its abundance, let us bow in reverence to this Lakshmi within and without. Thank you so much for being with us this morning, for your life, for your love, all the things you do in your life, all the people you serve, all that you bring. I love you. Om Jai Jai Sai Maa.